right? So it's not going to be an easy road. As Yahweh Shai even said, he said, here it is, you have the straight gate, and the few there be that find it, which will lead it to life. So from when you come into the truth, it's going to be a position of difficulty from start to finish, but then there lies the reward. Go on, brother.
Acts 14 verse 22,
Yeah.
confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith,
Yeah.
and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High.
Yeah, and the word confirm means to make hard. So this truth and the L's that we take from time to time, it makes us what? Hard. So that we can withstand the evil time. And plus we have the Spirit of the Lord that's upon us, which is the armor and the shield and the buckler. Somebody get Ephesians 6 and 10. All right? So that's the benefit of taking these L's. Because it's there to make us stronger so that we can withstand the evil day to that particular point in time. And so that our faith can be increased as well. We'll talk about it.
Ephesians 6 and verse 10, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Yep.
Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Yeah.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
And the word wiles means trickeries. It's deceptions. Go on.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood,
Yeah.
but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places.
And that's what we're about. Because who runs this entire society, man, spiritually? The spiritual demon Shaitan. That's who's running the show of this world. So if you want to make it in this world like the brother was going into, you got to go through those different various routes and shit. You know what I mean? And it's all based on Satanism. That's who controls and run this world. So we as men, we can overcome Satan like Yahweh Shai did at his lowest point. And we're at our lowest point economically, physically as a people, right, against these devils. They have all the financial power and the military power. We don't got anything. But what we do have is the power of Yahweh Shai. That's what we do have, and that will be demonstrated in the end. Go on, my brother.
This is 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 7. Verse 6, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations.
Right, through manifold temptations, go on.
That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach.
And that's what we're dealing with, whether we notice it or not. We're dealing with what you call manifold temptations in the sense of, like for example, you see these women, right? Just to name one example. You see these women typically like to show their bodies around. So you can get tempted into dealing with women and stuff like that, which they're not even women. They're really just harlots in the city. So then you get caught up in the mix with them, and they take you to a whole different world, which it ain't gonna be good. Because the world they're gonna take you to is a world of hurt eventually. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of dudes that are falling from these women, man. And then there's other stuff too. You got you see the bright lights and then you see all of these various clubs you would like to go to. You know, to some brothers that might be a tempting thing to to do is to go to these clubs, right? Whatever it is. But this world is full of temptations. Now, if you're spiritually growing in this truth, those things are not really going to tempt you too tough. But just to name a couple of examples. So if we endure these temptations, then guess what? We good, man. Go on, my brother. Appreciate it. As it is written, Salakia, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. I just wanted to say that. Go on.
Stay all night.
I mean, look.
Yeah.
Second Timothy chapters 2 and 3 says, therefore, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach.
Go on, brother. Read that again, my brother.
Yes, 2 Timothy chapters 2 and verses 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach.
Yeah, and there goes that word endure, which means the same with the word confirm, which means to make hard. Endure what? Go on.
Yahushua Mashiach, fruit 4 now. Yeah. No man that warreth entangleth himself, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Yeah. And so, I mean, come on, it's not war when you admitted defeat and now you consent to the ways of the world. It's war when you go against the world spiritually. Now, you know, we're going to be good old citizens of society because there's powers, man, that we can't go above physically. So we're going to be, again, we're going to keep the laws of society, right? Like the Apostle Paul said. He said, what did he say? He told those that were zealous among them that the powers that are have been ordained of the powers, which is above. I'm roughly paraphrasing Romans 13, right? So we understand that. So what are we doing? We're warring against the system spiritually. We're going against the grain. So when you go against the grain of anything, there's a lot of resistance. So we're going to do that in this world. And all of that is just making us hard, making us strong. Just like weight training. Weight training is basically resistance training. And the more you get used to the resistance, the more your body becomes immune to it. So you become strong. So that's what we're becoming. We're becoming men, strong men of the Lord. Go on, brother.
Just last one more.
Yeah.
2 Timothy chapters 2 and 5 now. If a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned except he strive lawfully.
Yeah, so that's what we got on that.
Or even striving lawfully as well. That's a key aspect of Esau's system. The way he's established his system is to have some imitation, some kind of, you know, like it seems like you might be able to attain some form of righteousness or, you know, some form of order. But really, you're just being entangled within his system.
Yeah.
Any of the routes you go through, you could go into, you become like a church pastor.
Yeah.
You might go into business. You might go into entertainment. You might even be like self-employed and try and be off the grid. All the ways you kind of can maneuver within Esau's system. Regardless, you're going to have to lean upon his system, lean upon what it does. And then you're also going to have to compromise yourself in certain ways regardless. For you, once you hit a certain level of you know, monetary affluence and whatnot, then there's forces the system can bring against you where it's like, look, you're going to have to, you know, get down with certain people. You're gonna have to, okay, if you want to, you know, spend a certain amount of money, you need someone to manage that. Then you're gonna have to have certain agreements. You might have to pay someone off. You try and like go around it, then it's that can be to your detriment. There's a lot of people where it's like they think, oh, that's where it's like, you know, those gangster flicks, Scarface and whatnot, where it seems like, oh, you can just go and kind of, you know, become a multi-millionaire, whatever, off to the side. And just be slanging, you know, stacks of coke, and then become a god in your own right. But then in reality, it's you know, it's a pale imitation. It doesn't really accomplish what you desire. Because in the end, what happened? Look, they all end up dead or in jail. And then the key thing is you know, you're basically trying to maneuver within a system that exists against how, as an Israelite, you're meant to function. You can read.
This is Hosea chapter 3 and verse 4. It says, "If for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice."
Yeah, without a king, without a prince, without a sacrifice. So as far as you have Jake existing in a state, they're completely disconnected from who they are, their understanding. They don't even know who their king is, who their prince is. Don't know, you know, why they would even need a sacrifice. These guys would become Christians and say they're saved, but then they don't even know what they're saved from. But then you have to go into like Luke 1:68 to get into, you know, what that even entails, and why it needs to be in place. You need to go into the covenant that was made, then go into, you know, Hebrews 8 as well to find out why there was a need for a new covenant. And these are things, if you don't even know you're Israelite, you like, you're toast. But then that's the state Jake's in. You have Jake where they could even become and know they're Israelite and then still be completely toast mentally, to where they still don't understand what it entails. They might think, oh, I can just have, you know, 7 wives, you know, and bust inside all of them, have a real good time, and build a palace and whatever. And they're trying to, you know, and they think that's like, wow, yeah, I can get tax write-offs, get the 501c3, we're good. But the reality of it is as far as for right now, there's a job that's been assigned. If you're Israelite, if you're of the elect, which Lord willing, that's what we all strive, hoping we are, then we're basically here like, yo, our lives are forfeit.
Yeah.
The brother just read it. It's present your body as a living sacrifice. We're meant to essentially be a sacrifice onto Yahushua.
And that's the whole purpose of the Israelite man, is to give sacrifices unto the Lord, keeping his ways. You know, because when you go, again, like you was going into, and it's, you know, as the brother was speaking on, to get into this world, hey, you gotta compromise. It's just the way that it goes, because they're in the palace. It's like, for example, when the kingdom is set up, these are the nations, if they want to be blessed by us, they gotta compromise. And that's just how it goes. You know? Yeah, you brothers got the scriptures. Keep the spirit flowing.
The book of Ephesians 6 verse 11. Put on the whole armor of the Lord our power, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Yeah, so you have to wear this truth like a garment. You know, like the scripture says in the Apocrypha, it says somebody could get that too. What is it? Cast about your double garment of righteousness upon you. So if you got the truth on you, that truth is going to teach you all things. And you're going to see the ins and outs of how this world operates. And you ain't going to look at this world like, wow, man, I could be this, I could be that. No, you're going to see this world for what it is. That is redundant to even actually get into. You know? Just to say something briefly, you know, in that regard. Yeah, so continue on, brother, if you got it.
Right, Ephesians 6 verse 12 now. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Yeah, and just as you mentioned, Saquon, that you know, you got guys in Israel that still, okay, they have the truth, but they still feel like they can sell out and they can get all of this and extra, and the wives, the 7 wives, and all of that. But you know, it's the both sides of the order of confusion. It's either you're down with the truth or you're not. You can't make the truth with selling out to Satan. It just doesn't work. The truth says the truth shall make you free. So when you sell out and you sign a contract, a 501c3 charter contract, you're not free. Now you're under the, what is it? You're under the, how can I put this? What way I could say this? You're under the rule of those that you've signed the contracts. So now you can't even teach the whole entire truth.
You're beholden to, you know, to get those benefits. You're beholden to the one supplying them.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, so, you know, that's just confusion. That's all BS. Go on, my brother. It is more now.
Yes. Wherefore, take unto the whole armor of thy power, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil days, and having done all to stand.
Yeah, because the job of a man of the Lord is to take this truth and to go against the powers that be. This is only right. Like it mentions in the Apocrypha, I believe. Or it could be in the Bible where it mentions that what is it, good is set against evil and evil against good. That's the way it got to be. So if you're in the middle ground and you're full of shit, you're pretty much what is it, a bullshit artist. We ain't here to be bullshit artists. We're here to be truth in our stuff. You know? That's just the thing. It's either you down with your Yahushua, you down with the words of Shaitan. You know? Go on, my brother.
One more, elder.
Yeah.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth.
With truth.
And having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Yeah, which your loins is like your torso area. So again, it goes back to wearing this truth as a garment, being covered in this truth. So if you're covered in this truth, you're going to take this thing seriously, and you're going to be as what Yahushua said, among those which shall worship in this mountain, true worshipers, right? Not half-assed worshipers. You know what I mean? Lord ain't looking for that. Go on, my brother. I think that's the point of it.
I got a few more verses.
You got a few more?
I got a few more, if you don't mind.
Go on.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
Right, with the gospel of peace. Your feet shod with the gospel of peace. And what is this gospel of peace? What we're bringing about? It's really what we're speaking about is the reconciliation between the Most High. That's really the end all of our message, is the idea of us coming back to the Most High through Yahushua. All right, so that's the piece that really, what we're really dealing with it. Yeah, so there's another scripture I want one of you brothers to get as well. Is the scripture where it mentions you can't serve the Most High now. Somebody get that, for sure.
the one about double garment?
Yeah, you can read that.
So I've got it here.
Yeah.
Baruch 5 and verse 2, cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from the Most High, and set a diadem on the head, set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, because doesn't it say that wisdom bringeth to a kingdom? So the crown, which represents the knowledge. So you're supposed to be fully grounded in this knowledge, and so when you have that knowledge, now you know how to operate. You know the ins and outs of things.
And that's another example you can look at for the worldly limitations.
No, I
Is
don't
that,
have that. I
you know,
don't have
crown,
that.
you still have royalty today. You can go see the thingy, what do they call it, not family jewels, crown jewels. You can go and see, but then that's something that's a physical manifestation of something spiritual. When you go to the ancient world, even when you have men like Samuel, where when he was on the scene, there wasn't even a king in Israel in those times. But then he still had the crown of wisdom. So he had the spiritual side of it, but then the physical manifestation was on that. And now the way Esau's realm works is it's all carnal. It's all in the physical manifestation. And that's why it's like, even with psychology, even with these fields of study he gets into, those things will essentially be using spiritual wisdom, but then carnal means of getting into them or utilizing that in a form of wickedness.
But you know what? As you just said that, you remind me of what the serpent did. Because Eve was taken by what? The serpent, based on how he basically delivered the message. Because the Most High said, what is it? If you eat of this tree, you shall die. But he flipped the script and made it look good. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But it's the same spirit. It's with everything now. The way we look at things, the way as an Israelite man you meant to approach it is the spiritual aspect first. Putting Yahweh Hashem Yahshua first. The scriptures, we've basically been given the guidebook to how to navigate life. So utilizing it, then it's you can't fail. But then Esau's got his corrupted version of it, where he's trying to essentially have himself sit as the Most High. So then he's like, okay, don't go through that. Instead, rather than going and learning the scriptures, you go to school, you go to uni, you get a degree, you're raised within his system. You work within his, it's even with the cultural norms and whatnot, rather than growing up on the stories of the judges, of David, Solomon, Elijah, John the Baptist, rather than learn about the great men of Israel, you're going to learn stories of like Disney princesses, whatever, Harry Potter, whatever the culture is, and then that will instead grow your mind towards Esau's outlook on things.
Which is the left-hand side.
Yeah, and then you see it reflected, because you get people from the so-called third world. They might come from China, Africa, Southeast Asia, whatever. Then the way they function is different. And then you go over there and you're like, wow, this could just be. You go to the Middle East, it's like you're back in ancient mode. But then what Esau, when you come into the West, he's got to function and how he functions.
Who's that? This is Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
Yeah, and prophecy as well. Because even you have events happen in the modern day. You got the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the Middle East heating up again with Syria and whatnot. These things, if you're just in the world, that's something that will cause you like, you might be like, is nuclear war coming? What's going on? But then, because we're occupied in prophecy, we already know. The gospel is what? It's the good news. For us, hearing about these things is good news. Why? Because we know what lies beyond it. People here, right here, the here and now, is the pinnacle of everything that can be. They're thinking like, damn, I really want to wake up and go to my 9 to 5 till I'm 67. And then my my pension can't even pay for the heating. I got to decide between eating and waking up with my toes turning blue. That's why it's a matter of Esau keeps you in the bubble. You don't even know what can be. People will think like, oh, being a farmer or being a sheep herd, or like they'll think ancient customs and ways of doing things are just completely backwards and ridiculous. Like imagine it's like no electricity and no, but then they don't realize there's like ways you could maneuver in the ancient world where it's like you'll favor that much more. Being able to wake up whenever the fuck you want and maybe only work 3 days out of the week and then still be doing very well, depending on how your harvest goes. That's something compared to you're going, you're grinding, then a guy calls you in the office and says, you've been a bad boy. You're 37 years old, you got grey hairs in your beard, and some 20-something-year-old is telling you you've been a bad boy. Work, like, But that's what people are looking at, like, damn, I can't wait to do that. But then it's really only because of the goodies. That's like entertainment, bread and circuses. It was the same thing back in Rome. Bread and circus was what kept people occupied.
Yeah, this is Deuteronomy 30 and verse 19 says, today, I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, today I have given you the choice between life and death, between the blessings and curses.
Now, life and death. And that's really what, people would have normalized. Cancer is one of them. You go back to even like the 50s, the 40s, cancer was not just like everyone, it's like, oh, you're 37. It's like, oh, you got this form of cancer, you're gonna have to get a treatment, you're getting throat cancer, you're getting lung cancer, you're getting all, like how, now it's become, in big 2020, a 7-year-old gets cancer, they're like, damn, that sucks. Then you go to Make-A-Wish, and then you wanna get them, you wanna get Drake to come down and sing some ballads, man. Then he's gonna be DMing her afterwards. But these are like, that's what now has become normalized. But then in reality, it's those things are fucking out there and weird. But then it's why? It's because the way that people live and approach their life, the book of life has been completely cast aside. They're basically maneuvering in behaviors, especially when adultery is a key one, because it's not what do you call it? It's not punished within this society. It's something that you can. The most you're gonna do is it might impact you financially, where you might have a divorce or block, but then your wife can go and fuck out, and then you're none the wiser. Or even you do find out, then you can't do shit. Let you think like, oh, you lay hand on her wrist, then the police come in, they're like, no, you gotta leave the house. Then she gets a restraining order, you can't come back. You come back, your TV's smashed up, then it's over.
Didn't they just make that thing in New York where if you cheat, you can't even get there's no like legal implications against that.
No.
So if your partner cheats on you, it's just like, well, oh well.
You just have to hold it.
Tough luck.
But that's why it's Esau's laws, woe to him that decrees unrighteous decrees. That's really what Esau, that's his job to do. That's why even, going back to the US, it was what, the gay marriage. That was pushed from there. There was a heavy push for it under Obama. Then they got it through, and then you've seen there's been a whole shift in the spirit when it comes to that LGBT alphabet stuff. That was something that there was a huge, it was, going back to like 2010, you wouldn't even see Transformers out here like that.
It wasn't heavy.
Like it was a rarity. You see one of them, you'd be like, it's like seeing a fucking, three-headed dog, man. But then now it's just like, you turn a corner, you lift up a rock, there's one of them there, man.
And you desensitized to it. Because you see them on the regular.
And it's like, especially in this country as well, it's like if you were to, make a statement, the police can just come, you're thrown in jail, you're done, man. Like they might have you in jail for a week or something. They might fine you or whatever. Well, actually, they ain't finding you in jail. There's no room in jail. They're going to be fining you, and that shit's going to be in your record or suspended sentence. That's how fucked it is.
Let me carry on now. Let me just finish this. Deuteronomy 30, 19. I'll read it again. Today I have given you the choice between, in the NLT, the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses. Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. Oh, that you would choose life so that you and your descendants might live.
Yeah, choose life as well. That's basically the option's been given as an Israelite. You know, life or death. And then as far as for Esau, he's basically was someone appointed to be on the earth to spread death, man. That's his role. His role is to you know, manifest the left-hand side physically on earth, man. That's why underneath his system, you know, he followed through. There was like strains of righteousness underneath when Israel was ruling during the Dark Ages. But then through the process of time, as Esau took over, then it slowly got stripped out to where it's now completely unrecognizable. The big ones, like with you know, a woman compassing a man. That was something that was, you know, never before in history had been seen, where you're just gonna be like, oh, okay, you're gonna have a woman just telling grown men what to do. This guy's got grays in his beard. He could have gone to a war front and taken people's lives. Then he's gonna go to a stockroom and have some woman telling him what to do. That's something that's completely brand new on the planet Earth.
Yep.
And then it's the thing is as well is we're seeing manifest the complete reason why you don't have a system set up, a society set up with these rules in place. You see why it leads to death. All these countries where they're so-called first world, progressive, the most advanced economies and systems in the world, societies in the world, all of them have a problem. What? No one's having no sex. No one's having no kids. They're all gonna die off.
The decline in birth rate.
Like that's death. Something that's on a basic level. Like to not have kids, like it's something, a function that men and women just do.
Yeah.
You know, by being in vicinity. You could. This is why it says sitting up with another man's wife. You could be working somewhere and see some chick. She might be the most mid whatever.
Yeah.
You let you work with her for 6 months. You might just start catching feelings. Just because that's how men and women are. You're in the same vicinity. You're gonna just be like, damn, kind of want a boner. So for men and women to be in society, especially in these cities where everyone's crammed together and no one's boning for shit, no one wants to have no kids, no one wants to do nothing, like something's gone very wrong.
Yeah.
And then it's something that's like it's acknowledged as an issue, but then everyone's skirting around the truth of the matter. It's the way society's been set up.
Yeah.
You have people kind of, that's why you even have movements in the West where they're saying, oh, we need to stop women being able to vote, take their rights away, and make them into property again. Because they've kind of seen to the heart of the issue. If a woman can decide what she wants to do, she you know, they're, especially with society pushing them to go and do whatever they want in the world. But then that's why it's now we see manifest as death. And then as an Israelite, it's the path to life, what lies in the scriptures. You have examples to kind of look to and be like, damn, you see where it's been cast aside, then you can go and be like, damn, oh, whoa, okay, yeah, I see why that law was put in place. This might have been something that when, you know, these things are being spoken thousands of years ago, they might have been like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Might have been like different dietary laws where they kept it, then they didn't know, like, why would you not? But then now what you have, you go into, people say you eat like certain kinds of shellfish, they can be deadly to you. They'll build all kind of poisons up in your body, eating pork, eating different, even like raw meat.
Yeah. These
These things can be deadly.
and you know it too, and this is the reason why we have to go through all of this, because we're learning why you got to keep all of these laws. This is because if you don't, that's the consequence. You can get cancer, you can get this various disease, etc., etc. You know, the in and out of adultery. Go on, brother.
This is
First
It's true,
John.
very true.
There is this one, I can't remember what it is. There's this one shrimp, shellfish, whatever. I looked at some food culinary documentary, and they were like, you know, you got a sell by day. Like if you eat it one day off, the moment you bite into it, your blood will clot. And it's like, well, why the hell would you eat anything like that? You drink some off milk, you get a stomach ache, whatever. But you're trying to tell me if there's like a catchment zone where it's edible, and past that catchment zone, I'm just dead. Why the hell would you eat that?
And it's hard to break into as well. That alone should tell you can't eat that.
Yeah, it was a crab you got a
hammer on the
and like
floor.
crack it
Yeah,
open and just sucking it out like that's a fucking going for a jungle gym. Just to eat like and then you get to chicken, you cook the thing, like that just falls apart.
Yeah.
Lamb as well. You cook a lamb good, bro. It'd be falling off the bone, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's soft and supple.
This is 1 John 5 and 3. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous.
Yeah, because there's a spirit of love. When you do the right thing, there's a benefit. There's a positive reaction when you do the right thing. But as we're learning in this world, being that we was in this world anyway, and you know, we did all of the wrong that we did, we've experienced the wrong, you know, the negative reactions, right? And being that we're in the street, we're seeing the negative reactions of when people do wrong among people as well. So all of this really is just a learning curve, man, of ways of not to be, you know, because ultimately, what's the outcome? It's just going to lead to death, bro. That's just the thing. Oh yeah, I want you to read this as well, Baba, for sure.
Yeah, this is Proverbs 4 verse 13.
Yeah.
Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go, keep her, for she is thy life.
Yeah, but keep her, she is thy life. And that's the scriptures. So blessed are our sins, man, that the Most High chose us to know this truth. Because there's a lot of people, they don't know the ins and out of the Most High. They may speak of him and all of this extra stuff, but they don't really understand how deep the knowledge of the Lord goes. You know, if they've known what they know, they would understand that, look, okay, there's a particular sort of reaction that if you do A, B, and C, and it's mentioned in the scriptures, and you're able to see vividly well why you don't need to do that or why you should do this. It's beautiful.
And then with instruction, the inverse is what? Rebellion.
Yeah.
Then the scriptures tell us rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
Yep.
And that's the nature of Esau. You go back to when, what is it, Deuteronomy? No, Genesis 27, 26. That the way Esau was functioning, he was rebellious, man.
Yeah.
He was given those instructions given to him, he'd always go against it. And then wasn't even say with his birthright, like he despised it. But then now you have what in the current time, these guys are fighting tooth and nail to get it back. But then that's really within his spirit. It's because he lost it. Just like it says, what he cried bitterly. That's why it's really for, you know, the way this guy functions. He's not got the means to even, you know, function in righteousness, man. He's not capable.
So Isaiah 5 and 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Yeah, and that's the experience that we're seeing in this world. We're seeing that this world promotes evil versus promoting good, because Esau's running the show. And this is the only way he could be. So, you know, that's why they hate is strong against us, man. Going back even to Cain and Abel. You know, the Most High said, look, you know, if somebody get it, because I'm gonna butcher it, man. Genesis, what is it, 4? Yeah, Baba Kushal, man. But yeah, just like the brother was saying, Saquon was saying that, look, you know, ultimately overall, to really get up and Adam in this world, you have to go left. It's just the way that it goes. And even if let's just say you want to get a good job, right? You know, a reasonably good job. There's a low level of left hand side that's in there too. You know? So it's just all BS, man. Go on, my brother. Genesis 4, where you want it? Start with verse 4.
Right, Genesis 4 and 4.
Yeah.
Let me start from 3. Makes sense. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground as an offering unto Yahweh. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect.
Yeah.
And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Yeah, because he was Satan on Abel. Actually read the whole thing.
Shall I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Right, tell me to stop. And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted?
And that's the point. So why would you be upset when the Most High told you to do this? If you would have done this, then your sacrifice would have been acceptable in my sight, right? So I mean, come on, like that goes back to the law of honoring your parents. The scripture says, how does it go? How does the law go? Yeah, honor your father and your mother that your days may be prolonged. Right? So he didn't do that. He didn't honor the commandment of the Most High. So that proves that basically he's the man of sin, which he basically became Esau, and now, well, actually, when you read down, I'm gonna let you read it, brother.
It says, verse 7, and if thou do well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his
Or even
desire.
with that, it's if thou doest well, will thou not be accepted?
Yeah.
It's basically on, and this is it really goes to Abraham, and it goes into detail and more in Hebrews. It was about what it was not just because of it was because of actions that were done. Because a good example is what the law of circumcision. That wasn't done by Abraham until it was way up in age, way beyond when you go to the law. It should have been done. But then, as far as it was like, wasn't counted against it. And these are the things. It's like, you through your actions can receive the result that you want. And then with Esau, how is he functioning when he's on the face of the planet Earth? He's basically moving maliciously, moving wickedly. Then it's for Israel. We have, a zeal, according to wisdom. We strive for it, but then it's like we fall short to a certain degree, and then it's a matter of what the Most High have in mercy as well. But then with Esau, you can go to he's got the. It's like when you there's laws that Esau can make easy to keep in his current society. He's got it set up to where there's no reason that shellfish or pork or any other unclean meat should be sold. He can have it so it's like, okay, well, they can exist, they're going to do their job in nature, but then as far as for farms and harvesting, we're only going to have, clean animals. But then what does he do? He just has shit functioning how he wants to function. He wants to establish his own righteousness. And then that's where it's you get that stiff-necked, rebellious nature. Because the reality of it is if you wanted to, you could, but you don't desire to. And then it's the inverse for Israel. Israel is the spirit inside them. By and large, we're gonna strive and do our best, really, for the elect. It's they'll strive and do their best. And then regardless, we're gonna fall short. None of us are gonna achieve perfection. But then regardless, it's still what we're striving for and receiving mercy.
It's just like you said, we're zealous. It's naturally in us to do the right thing. So we're going to do the right thing, even though we fall off. No, that's true. You're going on. I'll tell you what, hold on with that. I want to finish this before.
Verse 7, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother when it came to pass, when they were in the field, and that Cain rose up against Abel and his brother, and he slew him. And Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now thou art cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from my hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
And you know
So he took that in wrath. He took the action of slaying Abel. But then when the consequences came, it was like, oh, this is too much. And that's an aspect of Esau as well. That's as far as when you go to what's going down now, you basically got Esau going above and beyond in attempting, to bring a destruction onto Israel. And then you don't already know. That's the apple of the Most High's eye. They're the chosen. It's like, how are you gonna, like, what you're trying to do is like, you better succeed or else. And but then the reality of it is you're inviting on yourself an even greater judgment. Trying to accomplish what you're trying to do. In reality, you can't bring that to a full.
And just like the scripture says on, warn him that striveth against his maker. You know, and that's basically what Cain did. You know, because really when you read the story, like he didn't give the right sacrifice, and then he got jealous of his brother and slew his brother. And just, you know, just to convey the point of the all making really is that this man, he's totally against the nature of good. He's basically the man of sin, ultimately. You know, and that's basically what we're wrestling up against, pretty much. And that's just the beauty of this truth. This truth shows you, what is it? The beginnings, the beginning, the infantry stages of the evil, and as well as the good. You know what I mean? Boom.
And the other one just unplug it.
Yeah. No, you know, that's actually the point. That's all.
All right, I've got one to back you up then. This is in Hebrews 12 and 16 says, is my hold on? Take it off a little bit for me, Papa Kusha. Yeah, just a little bit. Hebrews 12 and 16 says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Yeah, which the word profane means, what is it, without the temple, something like that. Outside the temple, when it comes to water. Yeah, so that's just this man. That's just how he naturally is. So if he's running the world, everything is going to be contrary to righteousness, you know. And this is what we're now experiencing. And basically, the way that he rules the planet Earth proves that he got to be the Edomites. They can't lie to us. I mean, they can lie to average people and pull the wool over their eyes, but they can't pull the wool over our eyes because it's clear to see that they are the Edomites. You know, it's like Vocab Malone, right? He did he did a sit. I didn't watch all of it, but he basically did a sit down, speaking about, oh yeah, well the so-called blacks and the West Africans can't be Israelites, but he already spoke about how certain people that came to the Americas and stuff that conveyed the point that we are the Israelites, you know. So what am I trying to say at this point? Yeah. So the thing of it is, these people, they set up these guys, these Christian dudes, to throw that spirit out there, to downplay what we're saying, because if we can deny that we're Israelites, then we can deny that they're Edomites too. You know what I'm saying? They don't want this truth to get out that, okay, we are who we are, and they are who they are, because they know it's a consequence, and they believe what we're saying is true. They just posing up against it, because if they didn't believe, I don't need to keep going, brothers. If they knew, okay, if what we're saying is trash, then you speak on it, you speak on what we speak on, and then you just move forward. But he's been on our case for 12 years, man. Go on, brother.
This is Hosea 1 and 10.
Yeah.
It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Yeah.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people,
Yeah.
there it shall be said unto them,
Yeah.
ye are the sons of the living power.
Yeah, that's the prophecy. The scripture says that would be the case, and we're very well aware of this. That in the Western Hemisphere that we lie in, it would be said that we can't be the Israelites, primarily in America, of course, you know. But guess what? In that land, it would be said that you are the children of the living power. So the thing of it is, we're not gonna get like moved in the spirit because some Sasquatch all the way from Phoenix, Arizona is conveying the point, we the Israelites. And this guy is just a Johnny come late. While the elder apostles was teaching the truth, and the elders and the bishops on down and the brothers on down, he been doing this way before he even came into existence.
But you know what shows that, like, our doctrine, which is the doctrine of Yahweh Shemi Shai, given unto us, starting with the elder apostles, bishops on down, it's fucking with his head.
Yeah.
Because at first, his stance was the Edomites are done away with.
Yeah.
Now his stance is, well, can they be saved?
Mm-hmm.
So which one is it? Are they done away with, or can they be saved?
Yeah.
Are they still here? So it shows that that's why the scripture says that I will make your head as flint, hard against their head.
Yeah.
Because as we're going stronger, he's getting weaker.
Yeah, and you can see it in his face. You can see the cortisol in his face. The nigga's stressed out, man.
His stance is changing.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why the scripture says, if this counsel be of the Lord, if it be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Lord, that shall stand.
Yeah. And that's,
that requires to deal with the matters spiritually. Because really, you got to go to the scripture and be like, what does the scripture say? Because as soon as you involve the Bible, the guys in the land lose all credibility. And that's the reality. His job is what? is verifying them. So he goes any and everywhere. Man will have one scripture, read 2 verses, and then be like, that's it. That's all we're dealing with. Don't go anywhere else. But because why? He's got a job to do. But then that's, you know, when you deal with the scriptures, we're dealing with a whole book. We go in and out, we jump, you know, we'll read a bit here a little and there a little. And that's the reality of how you're meant to get understanding. And the fact of the matter is like, where's Vocab Malone expanding with this guy's having to travel overseas. The apostles didn't have to go to all these different countries to establish camps. It's like over here, different parts of Europe, Australia, all over the world. Like, why is it you have, you know, camps springing up? Because it's a matter of the spirit. And that's again where you should be able to be like, damn, how can we work? You know, how can we work out who's telling the truth?
Yeah.
Because that also just eliminates the Christians. Because these guys had Christianity's done taking over the whole globe. Yeah. Yet we're still here.
And our methodology is backed by prophecy. Psalms 19. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahushua said it, you shall not come past all the lands of Jerusalem until the Lord comes. And Jerusalem's talking about wherever you find Jake. Meaning that Jake is, you know, the various diasporas, Israelites are going to be spread throughout the whole world. So the end is going to come before you can physically travel to every single location where Israelites are. So the methodology is Psalms 19. Night unto night, you know, the word goeth forth. So I show the heavens declare the Lord's handiwork. So it's like the methodology of how we push the truth is that itself is backed by prophecy. You taking a plane and jet setting everywhere, that's not how the Bible said it's going to happen. As the elder bro said, Christianity's been pushed. The whole missionary thing's been played out.
Centuries. 1 Corinthians 4 and 9, for I think that the Most High have set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were, appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. So the apostles were sent last, and then made a spectacle as well. Before angels, before men. And that's how much more, even the way the word's delivered, it's a spectacle. That's a big part of how more or less all brothers got drawn in. You will be like, yo, you see like, oh, it's a video. You just see it first, you might just be like, oh, what's this? This looks strange. This looks interesting. You might have seen a brother up on the street being like, okay, what's going on here? Let me sit around and listen. Then, you know, what's getting taught starts just hitting your brain. You're like, yo, what's going on? This makes too much sense. Then like 2-3 weeks later, you're just like, damn, I ain't stopped watching videos. Like, what's going on? Be like in school, in class, just like, just like you're on your lunch break eating a sandwich, just like, you just tapped in. And that's you know, shows it's the spirit.
The teacher's telling you you're zoning out, but really you're tapping in.
Man.
You know what I mean?
This is Isaiah 11 and 2. It says, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears.
Yeah, this thing hits quick, swiftly. You go to these theological seminaries, these church affiliated, schools and whatnot. It's like Sunday school. It's like, bro, I went Sunday school for years on end. Bro, I can tell you like 2 scriptures like that I learned from back then. But then coming into the truth, I was like, yo, you're able to break within a matter of weeks. You could probably break down like color scriptures, the chariots, America's Babylon the Great. You all have breakdowns ready just in a matter of weeks, just because of how meaty, how good that food is, nutrient dense, quality meals.
Right.
But then you go. That's why you go elsewhere. And that's a spiritual factor. The spirit makes it hit. But then you go in one of Esau's courses, then it's like you come out of that, a guy that's been in the truth like a year and a half could probably just completely twist them up.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. It's like there'll be people where it's like they've been teaching the Bible for the last 20 something odd years. Then they come to the camp and then they ain't got a reply.
Yeah.
You tell them, okay, explain this to me. That's like, but again, it comes down to the spirit. That's what they're lacking.
This is Acts 1:8. But ye shall receive power after that of the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
Yeah, even onto the uttermost parts of the earth. So from then it was set, the word was going to go out and it was going to get pushed out heavy, man. And that, the unicorn, that internet doing legendary work to which, can't be done, like it was said, flying in planes and whatnot, you're not going to be able to hit like how the internet hits. You can be up on the International Space Station and you can be watching videos. That's how the internet is. You can be in Antarctica where it's like they have 6 months where it's just storms. You can't even get out of there. But then you can still get satellite signal to be getting videos. Like that's how how much it's basically been connected to where now, and that really shows as well is if Christianity or if Islam or if whatever angle they're trying to bring was the truth, that could have been fulfilled easy. Because as far as for the word, it's like, especially with going out for YouTube, it's like 2007, 2008, and then you take that, it's like under 20 years, the way it's spread. Like you have to think like, damn, this could have really been done in no time flat.
It's faster, man. Like by the time you jump on a plane, get to the destination, like take a day or two, then start preaching. Like you're looking at 3-4 days. On the internet, there's like at best 2-second lag.
Yeah.
You can watch something live, and then
as it's happening,
like in reality, there's probably like a 1.5 seconds lag. You damn near watching it live. That's why it's called live. So it's just faster. You know what I mean? Because the Lord is wrapping this thing up, and like obviously the elect need to hear the word. So the means and the vehicle how he's doing it is just faster, man. Again, as the elder brother said, like in under 20 years, look how this thing is spread like wildfire. You got brothers all over the place, man. You got a brother in Australia, down under.
And the Philippines too.
Philippines, you got a brother in Nigeria, Tanzania, you got the island camps, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, you got of course brothers here, man, from 07 onwards, you got brothers all over the place, man. Holland. That didn't happen by the apostles getting on planes. That happened by the internet. Because it's just a faster mechanism that just does the job quicker.
Peace out. Shall I read it?
Yeah.
This is Psalms 19 verse 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day utter his speech.
Yeah, because them satellites are up. It's the satellites that permit the radio waves and the frequency to be played back to you live. And that shows you the power of the internet, the power of these frequencies, these waves, man. Because as it's being done, them waves are being shot up into the heavens, then it bounces back off the satellite throughout the whole world. So you could have someone in Antarctica, someone in fucking Malawi, watching this.
And too, on YouTube you have this thing where you can change the language to your liking.
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. See?
Translate.
Wow.
Yeah. As it live as well.
Some technology thing.
Yeah. But that show is and it's what truth being spread that way as well. Because even with it's like people be like, oh, how do you know, block? As far as what's been taught, it's remained firm. Like it's not been like just where it's just coming and it's like, okay, we just completely changed what's been what's been taught this whole time. It's been maintained, and then you've had people come in and try and bring damnable heresies, and then what, they get weeded out over time.
Yeah. Shut up.
Bruce up.
One more in Psalms 19.
You can, if you got more.
Verse 2, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out in all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them have you set a tabernacle for the sun. That's it.
It's gone out, man. It's the whole world is basically able to interact with that. You can be at any spot, anywhere, and it's like your phone can connect. Even the way that what would you call it? 3G, 4G phone connections and whatnot work now. You can be like, if you're on free or whatever, you go overseas somewhere, then you'll still get like internet whilst you're over there. It might not be the fastest, but you'll still have access. So it's like now, the way everything's all been connected up, it's like you wouldn't even think. Thing is, it's what you call it? The way it's all been set up, it's like now it's a level of connectivity that was completely alien. When I remember it's like the 90s as well. If you wanted to go and talk to someone, you call their house phone. You have to go to a phone with your house. You have to find a phone box. You have to have 20p, stick it in there, call them up, hope they answer. If they're out, then they're just out. You can't even do anything. You might, it's like your mom might have gone to work. You're like, shit, I forgot the house keys. You're like, damn, you what's her work phone number? You forget. Then you just stuck outdoors till like 6.
That's it.
Remember those dial-up cards for back home?
Yeah, like
Call
a
it
mobile
Jamaica,
and all that shit.
call it Nigeria. In the middle, mid-convo, boop.
Yeah. You have to go get another one there. So I remember my grandma would be telling me like, yo, go get this. But that's the way it's sped up. Then everything's now just all become connected. And it's what for that word to go out.
Precept. Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Yeah, and then shall the end come. Because it's all tied to prophecy. This word going out, that's a matter of prophecy. These guys in 1948, they're trying to, pretend like something was fulfilled. But then even the war that we're witnessing to this day lets you know that prophecy wasn't fulfilled. From when the true Israelites will go back into the land, there's not meant to be any war. Meanwhile, these men are signing peace treaties. Then, like 3 hours later, they're carpet bombing, man.
Yeah. Still building bombs, still building guns, still taking lives.
Yeah, the Uzi is Israeli made. The Jalil is these guys are chief gunsmiths. But then, yeah. But then, they're meant to be Jacob. How does that work out? Meanwhile, you then go to the prophecies, then you're like, okay, well, who could Judah be? Then you go to the so-called blacks in America, the Negroes in America, then you start lining the scriptures up, you're like, damn, this makes too much sense.
That's the thing with these full hat stories. They always, they're for the left. What about everybody else?
Where's Benjamin at? Where's Ephraim at, man?
Where's Asher? Everyone's just left.
I mean, it's true, man, because they don't even divide their land like that. Because each tribe got its own inheritance, right? And they're not concerned about that. They just want the whole land for themselves. They kick Palestinians out and whatever. The Great Israel Project and all that kind of stuff. But none of them are actually fulfilling any prophecy for them to do that. And that's why they're still beefing over the land. There should be peace for them. And they should be at rest.
And that again is why the law was set down as for order. There's a means of how you handle inheritance is explicitly laid out in the laws, because that's something that people feel like, damn, these guys are just going to strip us of our inheritance. And then knowing you come back in the cycle as well, you be like, damn, you're gonna come back, you're gonna have nothing left. But then the way Esau's established these things is all like, that's just some old, crusty, you know, way that people live.
Yeah.
It's backwards. Now you want to get an apartment flat and rent it for a limited amount of time, and then they boot you out and rebuild it.
This is Hebrews 12 and 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live?
Yeah, be in subjection to, you know, the Heavenly Father and live. Because as far as for, you know, what the means that what Esau's offered, it leads to death.
Yeah.
You can what who's meant to be the chosen are like chief agents of death. Like they're meant to be the beacon for everyone to follow after. But then what are these guys known for over there?
Well, these are the wicked that prosper in the world.
Yep.
You know? So you already know what their motive is. It's just to get more, take more, kill more, right? Until there is nothing left. Because Esau is insatiable. You know, Scripture tells you, man, he's death and cannot be satisfied. So he would literally take everything from everybody and leave, you know, people with nothing, man.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like it reads in Ezekiel 35 that how does it go? It goes on that thou, what is it? Thou hast not paid his blood shall pursue thee.
That's why it's always going to get taken out.
Yeah.
That's why it's gonna get taken out.
Yep.
You know, because we cannot sit by and wait until Esau destroys everything. Man. The Most High is gonna send his son, Yahweh Shai, to come and end him before he ends everything else. You know?
This is Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Yeah, he's covered the faces of the judges as well. The people, well, everyone's looking to Esau for order, for judgment, for righteousness, for you know, a better life, for everything. But then what does he really have to offer? He's only spread death and destruction. Man, there was a study saying that like by 2100, there'll be no Japanese left, man. Like what the hell's going on over there, bro? Like,
Their birth rate's fucked.
yeah, that's these guys were like, if you go to like in the post-war time, they're one of the greatest economies as well. They rebounded. It was dealing with Esau. They were meant to, you know, be next on the rise. That's why you had Cyberpunk in the 80s would always have everything in Japanese in the future, because they were like, oh, these guys are doing so well, they're gonna take over everything.
Well, I remember back in the days, like everything was Japanese made. Now everything's coming from Taiwan or Bangladesh or, you know, some part in Sichuan in China or some shit. You know, because they're being outdone right now. You know, because they're working for cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what happens when your economy becomes, you know, a certain size. People start wanting to be paid better. You know, and so you know you start looking elsewhere to save costs, and you start looking to other places to make your shit. You know, same what America's doing. That's why America's all fucked up.
Because everyone sees, you know, the millionaires, the guys making the most money, living the most affluent life, and that's what they think, you know, they're entitled to. They think they're entitled to it, and they think they can achieve it.
Yeah.
But then the reality is the vast majority of people on the planet Earth ever have just been average nobodies. Like, for you to be amongst the affluent class, that's a small amount of a small amount.
Well, that used to be because of, you know, lineage. You know, you used to be born into rich households, rich family lines, prestigious lines or whatever. But everybody wants to be on that level, no matter what, you know, where you come from. And not say you can't be done or shouldn't be done, but it's like if everybody's got the same goals and aspirations, there's a certain way, there's a certain outcome it's going to be. You know, when you all try to go for the same thing, it's like everybody goes to school here, right? Not everybody goes to uni.
Yeah.
It don't make sense for everyone to go to uni because you need people that has basic skills and basic stuff. You don't need everyone that's, you know, to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You have an oversaturation of that particular market. You know, you need people that can do plumbing. You know, but you don't need to go to university. You go do your apprenticeship or whatever. You know, you need people in different places because they're just, you know, it's for balance. You know.
That's actually in the law. There's the script. When you read the scripture, it says the Lord Yahweh blessed people's hands with coppersmiths, shepherds. The Lord actually gave certain Israelites the abilities and skills in different industries. Because as Els was saying, if you got everyone, you know, the so-called Jake household, you'll be a doctor, you'll be a lawyer. You know, if you're not a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, in certain
Yeah, you're a
households,
failure.
you're a failure.
That's
pressure.
The economy can't work like that. You know what I mean?
You know. And so you've got the noblemen that are, that have higher places and there to kind of manage the nation or whatever, manage affairs and whatever. And you've got the blacksmith, makes tools or whatever, whatever the case may be. Everyone has their purpose, right? Everyone speaks about everyone to their several abilities.
Yeah.
The Most High give you different abilities in life. We're not all the same. Even as Israelites, we're not all the same. And that's just the way it's always been.
But that's part of that lie of equality. Because it sounds alluring, like, oh, everyone can just get the same, but we're living in what's meant to be like the most equal society, the most equal time. What do we actually see? Even more inequality than can possibly be achieved. It's like what communism was meant to be, government enforced equality, everyone gets the same. And then somehow it was even more corrupt than like any like government that come before.
Because everyone at the top is always going to abuse their power in this world, because this world is wicked, right? The people at the top are always going to abuse power. So no matter what system they kind of make up, it's always going to favor them. It's never going to favor the masses, right? And it's always going to be that way. Where you've got capitalism, where you've got socialism, where you've got all these things. None of it really matters because it's all being run by those at the top. Esau's always at the top of every food chain, right? So everything goes back to him. He eats more than everybody else.
And you know too as well. Actually, and like you brothers, like our elders were saying that people have been entitled to this idea of fluency, and that's done by design. Because if people would actually know that they can't move up a class, then people are gonna know that they're being robbed from the super rich, and then violence is gonna ensue. So let's just give people this false sense of hope that we can make it, but there's no, you ain't gonna make it. You're gonna stay where you're at.
The trick with the balance is, right, because those in higher positions or wealth, they're meant to help the poor. Right? That is how things are supposed to go. Right? But this is not how this world works. You might see these elites, well, I'm going to donate to this charity, which they have a hand in. They're either laundering money for it, or it's some backdoor to do wickedness. It's always something. It's not really benefiting what they're supposing it's supposed to be doing. All these philanthropists, right? Or they're saving the planet. Are they? Don't fucking look like it. But they're throwing millions into shit, right? Mr. Gates, I'm gonna save Africa. Bro, that's not what's going on. There's a disconnect here from what they're saying they're doing and what's actually happening.
How is it that he's meant to have been like, we're trying to just stop all these diseases, but then you had Ebola run through there, you had Mpox go through there, you had like everything that seems to happen, it runs through there and runs rampant.
We still got Oxfam talking about wells. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. How
Bro,
can you understand it?
someone's telling me, it's like, bro, the way these guys have been around.
How much billions they got?
Yeah, I was like, bro.
I don't understand. People still walking miles for wells.
What's the other one they do over here? The Comet Relief or whatever the hell that shit. Bro, I've been seeing that since I was 8 or 7 or whatever. I was like, like little kids in school is giving money to that. Like, how are you guys not able to? And they say, it costs like £150 to build a well. I was like, bro, everyone should be no one is unable to drink water, bro. Give me a break.
I think it's water aid. That's another one.
Children in need, all that. Pugs in the bed.
Oxfam.
It's like, come on, you haven't solved it yet. All these billions, all this generosity, all these elites are putting money into these things. You ain't solved it yet. You ain't solved the issues yet. It's because you're constantly draining that place. And the money you're saying goes there is not really going there to help anyone other than the people that are running these fucking criminal fucking organizations.
Let me read this. Psalm 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. And that's like really what the goals of these elites are. They have a big, huge portion of what their goals are is to keep Jake in the state they're in. You go to, Revelation 11, then when Jake was in that destroyed state, everyone rejoiced. They gave presents, they celebrated. Because why? Having Jake in that destroyed state, they know that then gives them free reign to go out and live as they desire. You go back to the ancient world, you go back to the time of judges, the time of kings, they know when those righteous Israel raised up, they can't do nothing. They can't come against them, in any way or means. And that's a big part of why you have, you know, black culture, why you have the identity of being an Israelite, something that's been separated. Yeah.
Oh, right. This is Habakkuk 2 and verse 5. Let me read from verse 4 into 5. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Yeah, he's got that insatiable, gluttonous hunger. And that's really the means by which his system runs. And that's something that extends to the people below him as well. Everyone sees like, wow, this guy is really, they're seeing Elon Musk's, Bill Gates, whatever, saying like, oh, these guys have got X amount of trillions of billions of dollars. And they're seeing like, oh, he's able to just fly around, and he's got all these, you know, he's got all these companies he's doing. They're thinking like, damn, I want a slice of that. They're all thinking they can get a piece. But then really that's for the elite. And to even receive that much abundance, everyone else has to give up what they got. That's how that's why you even have the classifications of first world, second world, third world. Esau went to where Esau went to, there was empires. There was you can go to all these different museums and see all the goods, man. There's all gold, all kinds of precious metals, statues, ancient artifacts and whatnot. They took because why? It brought them affluence and wealth. That's why you have countries where it's like what's the word? Tourism is a draw because there'll be things to see. It's with London. A lot of these museums are part of the appeal. The National Gallery, the different art galleries and whatnot, where there's a bunch of ancient goods that are just up in there.
Oh yeah.
That's what people are drawn to. Remember there was the advert on the tube of like the crown jewels with the Jake just staring at it, like the young Jake next to him.
I remember on the underground there was a poster. I wanted to go to this year. I didn't end up going. But it was like a Rothschild museum.
Rothschild, man. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they had all kinds of shit.
Like that.
I was like, I wonder what's in there. I actually want to go down and
Yeah.
see it, man. I didn't end up going. But obviously, you know, the Rothschild, they've got all kinds of shit, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they've got the money to have all these things in their little vault, in their little museum or whatever.
And it's private as well. It's like theirs was, they're like, it's our private collection for the public to see.
And they would say it's like how they put it, man? It's like a national thing. You know, it's a national museum that you can go and visit, but it's theirs. They own it. Like there's certain parks, it's a national thing, but it's really they own it. You know, Prince Charles, he owns reserves and things like this. You know, and they'll call it a national area or whatever. But only they're the ones that own it. You know.
Yeah, I got a precept.
You know, more on Habakkuk.
Check.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, I've got more. This is Habakkuk 2 and verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Yeah, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And that's what is it, John 10 and 10, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. Esau's gained his wealth by theft. Everyone looks up to like, wow, all the shining lights, all the so-called glory of America, they marvel at it. But then how was it gained? Because what they came over, you go back to what happened when they came over to the Americas. They, butchered, murdered, the tribes are over there, then established and built themselves up. They had things like the gold rush, all kinds of precious metals and whatnot that were in Hispaniola, that were in different regions of the US. They just went and made merchandise off of that and built themselves up. And then as well as they made use of the land. The land there as well was very, very fertile land.
And even all of that gold that the Ishmaelites had in buildings, where all of that gold go, they took it.
So that's robbery, theft. That's the baseline how they built themselves up. then it says what even the thick clay, the heavy debts. Because the way Esau's established the monetary system is what unjust weight. They had the gold standard up to a point, but then after getting rid of that, then it's just become complete funny money. To where now you can just have it where it's like, you know, apparently they're saying, oh, it's the best economy ever. The stock market's at the highest GDPs. Yeah,
It's false. You make it
GDP is
up.
great.
You know?
But then, you know, you go and you're paying like £8.50 for a loaf of bread. But they say it's a great economy.
Do you think like you'd be able to afford a fucking space program based on your fucking GDP? No. You wouldn't be able to afford it. It's only because you can print money out of fucking thin air and debase your currency to do that. You manage to do that. Because you're constantly in debt. Every day your the debt clock's going up more and more. Every time, you know, you sit around in Congress talking about, oh, we're not going to raise the ceiling. Oh, we should raise the ceiling. You're going to raise the fucking ceiling. You're going to raise, you have to. You don't have a choice.
Bro, the country
Obviously
will
shut down.
explode, bro. Like,
You ain't got no money, man. America's broke. You know? And all these other nations are broke because they're all in debt to elite banking families, man. That's just the truth.
And it
no
was,
one talks about that part.
yeah, because that's
Who they in
like
debt to?
hundreds of years back, where it's like it's a slow process over time. All these different wars happened, different leaders came in. It was like, okay, and that was a huge issue. Like going into the Renaissance era, where you would have like monetary funding, you know, through banks for wars. That was as you know, centralized banks became a thing, and then like what is it called, the heavy clay, the debt-based financing happened. That was needed if you know if France is going into debt to fund their soldiers and their military, and you're going to war with them, how are you going to compete? You're going to have to go in debt too, and the bankers there'll be one in one country, one in another. They're the ones laughing at the end.
And that's part of the reason why America's army is so great in the first place. The fact that it can just print its own money, right, and just infinitely fund their campaigns and shit. They keep all their own oil, they take everybody else's oil, you know, so they can just wage war constantly, you know, and it doesn't matter, they'll just spend more. And no one else can do that because they're not the world's reserve currency. They can't do it. Right? So that's why America has an advantage and has had an advantage all this time, you know.
Yeah, I got a precept. Yeah, this is Proverbs 11 and verse 1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight.
Yeah, false balance, because that's the bedrock of how Esau's system is still running, and that's why it's you know, stupendous for people to really be looking up to it and be like, wow, because the reality of it is the way it's completely a foundation of sand. Like as soon as it's the same with was it like Northern Rock? It happened over here. Then the States was like Lehman Brothers, where as soon as everyone was like, let's take our money out, then it became evident that can't function. That's the entire U.S. economy. That's not even that. That's a global economy. It's gonna be Mad Max. Let everyone go to be like, let me withdraw the money in my bank account. It'll be Mad Max. But then that's why it's you know, and that's something that's gonna go down. This monetary system, it can go. You're not gonna go at the drop of a hat.
Book of Psalms 55 verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Yeah, and that's just the thing with this brother. Like, he says he speaks a good game, but he's not really about the good game. Because what does the good game benefit? It doesn't benefit him at all. It benefits him when he takes and hoards all of what other people have. You know, like they was, you know, the elders was going into that. What Esau has done is he's went through and confiscated, you know, by the killings that he's done, and that's how he's been able to be up and out. Right? So what they want to do is they want to tell you a bunch of good, sweet nothings just so that they can make your life even more miserable. Here.
You finished it,
Yes, I finished.
Right, this is back in Habakkuk 2 verse 7. Shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be brutes unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations.
Because thou hast spoiled many nations. So just like it reads in Galatians 6 and 7, for the Most High is not mocked. But whatever man soweth, that shall he also reap. And Colossians 3 and 25, for a man shall receive for the wrong that which he hath done. Yeah, man. So I mean, this devil, he's gonna be spoiled. And when it's all said and done, when he ceases to spoil, he's gonna be spoiled. And we're gonna be the ones to spoil him. He's gonna be on us. Go on, brother.
Yes, it says,
Oh yeah.
verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee.
Right.
And because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all them that dwell therein,
Yeah.
it says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high,
Yeah.
and that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
Yeah, and they have covered. They've covered it like all throughout the years. They've taken all they went into lands, like I said, confiscated all of the resources of these other nations, right? And that's how they were able to, become as rich and powerful as they've become, right? But again, there's a reaction to that, because the Most High is a power of justice. Even when we possess these other nations, we're going to kick them up the ass for 1,000 years. But once the 1,000 years is set, we're going to give them back what is just on time. And it's going to be a just kingdom. And that's why everybody's lollygagging and complaining and doing as they may, protesting and stuff. Because the world is being ruled by unjust people. And they're not just with how they operate it. Go on.
Verse 10, thou hast consulted shame to thy house,
Yeah.
by cutting off many people.
By cutting off many people.
Oh,
It's a good one as well.
I missed 9, forgive me, Thawada. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
Yeah, because he wants to, this devil, he wants to become above and beyond everything. And when they said on that the eagle is landing, I think it was Apollo 13, if I'm correct, right? That was them making the statement, which it was a lie because it never happened. But when they conveyed that statement, that was to signify that, look, we're above everything, And that's the mentality. That's why you got the skyscrapers when you see them. That should signify their level of pride. Go on, bro.
Verse 10, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people.
And they cut us off. They cut the natives off. The so-called Seminoles, which is the tribe of Reuben, and the North Americans, which is the tribe of Gad. And the Most High gave them a blessing. That land, which is America, is a blessing to those people. So what they did was they covered fields that didn't belong to them. All right, the lost people they cut off. So that has to be taken into account. Go on, my brother.
Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul.
And have sinned against thy soul. And I mean, they don't care about sinning against their soul, because that's just who they are. They're the people of sin. That's why they have that red look to them. Which the term red goes back to the word, goes back to sin. What is it? Isaiah 1 and 14 tells you. Go on, my brother.
Let me jump down to verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood,
God.
and establisheth a city by iniquity.
And that's how America was established. That's how Great Britain was established. It was all to do with the conquering of the people, shedding much blood. And that's why they continue to shed blood. All right? Because, I mean, how else were they able to become into being as they are without shedding blood? And the same thing is still.
Now, a good example is with, since the British Empire came to an end, there's been a noticeable decline.
Yeah.
When it was a time of the empire, what was it called? The empire on which the sun doesn't set.
Yeah.
There was all these different regions that were basically tributaries. You watch, it's like even, what was the movie? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where it's like you had people, like, he was, I think at the start of the movie, he's in like South Africa. Then you had like the Indian youth that was like, that had the submarine, like that was part of the empire as well. There were all these
early 90s, right?
Yeah, or like 2000 and so it was like early 2000, around that kind of time. Maybe it was late now, I can't remember. It was around that kind of the year 2000. But then with it, it's kind of, that was in that time of where the British Empire was the ultimate power. Being like the British passport was a sign of like affluence. people looking like, oh, you speak with a British accent, oh. Then as well, it's like now you go into what? Like after America rose, then what? You've had a decline of the empire. To where it's really post World War II, it's been nothing but a steady, sharp like decline.
Yeah.
To where there was that prideful like, oh, was it Brexit? Where they were saying like, oh, you know, Britain, blah blah blah. But then lo and behold, it was a net negative. Because as far as like that time of glory, it was done.
Yeah.
It was the same. You had like different empire, like the Portuguese. These guys can't even. They ain't even. People in there can't even make money. Like there's no life for them in their own country. They have to go overseas to somewhere else, make a life there, send money back. But then them guys were at one point going around dominating the seas as well. Same for the Spanish. These men, they had one flood, then like they couldn't even deal with that. Wouldn't even want. It was one flood in a certain region of the country. Then these guys are rebelling because they're seeing like their elites don't care for them.
Yeah.
They had like the king and queen come through. I didn't even know Spain still had a king and queen. These men came through. They weren't doing shit. They were saying like, oh, the the prime minister or the president, whatever, weren't doing shit. Because why? It's that they've completely declined.
Because they were prominent. If you can correct me, brother, I think it was the 1400s, right?
Yeah.
they
Because
were
with
prominent at the time.
what do you call that? Was doing the hell's this guy's name, man?
Alexander.
1492.
Yeah.
Christophe Colomb. That this guy moving around, it was what on the behest of Spain.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is like, especially for the newer generation, they won't really know like how prominent like prior countries would have been, even for like empires that existed in like Africa and whatnot as well. We had Jake among there, you know, where they had huge amounts of affluence and power and control. The Arabs as well. People are now thinking that the Arabs, because of oil money, which that's some like 90s, 70s, 60s, real brand new shit.
Yeah.
Before then, that was a dust bowl. There wasn't nothing going on. Them guys were in sub-poverty line society.
Living in the desert, just man in the desert. Yep.
But then prior to that, it's what they had dominance as well. They had a rule. But but then that's you have your rise, you have the time when you're at the top, and then the decline. And that's a certain. Then you think, why go on for America? It's like, is America in decline? Why is it that Donald Trump was running on Make America Great Again? That means it was great at one point, and it now isn't, because it needs to go back to that level of affluence. So of course it's in decline.
Jeremiah 51:7, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her, pain, if so be she may be healed.
And that's really in the mindset. They're trying to, the elites are really trying to establish Babylon as a place where they're going to make it so they're enthroned as gods within Babylon, where there can't be any contest against it. They're going to have, spiritual means of a carnal means of exerting spiritual power through technology, to where no one's going to be able to resist. Just like how the Most High has it, where the angels, everyone, they basically follow their instruction. You're given, guidance or orders on how you're going to function. That's why Esau is the wicked perfectly, and then what? The elect. They're going to be the elect perfectly. They're going to do exactly what they're assigned to do. Same for the angels. Same for the angels on the left-hand side. Everyone basically plays their role.
Yeah.
And that's what Esau desires. But then the reality of it is America has a role. It's got a job to do. Like I said, it's what make the whole earth drunken. All these different nations are drunk off of those different wines, different philosophies that America puts forth.
Yeah, and just like it reads in what is Thessalonians, right, where it says he sitteth in the temple, like as the Most High.
2 and 2
Yeah.
and 4.
Yeah, because what he wants to do through technology is basically be that. He wants to be the supreme power and click you to the the digital system. And with that, he can control. He can have all kind of tabs on you, and then he can control you with the secret. That's his formal way of being like the Most High, pretty much.
This is John 10:10. The thief cometh not for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundant.
And just to add to what the Zaquan said, because it's quite interesting, right? Because it's like the scripture says. The scripture says, the Most High, he right. How does it go? It goes the man's goings of the Lord, and how can a man then understand his own way? So what Esau wants to do, he wants to do that instead. He wants to be able to manipulate your mind to do A, B, and C the way he wants you to do.
So we have things like, was it The Manchurian Candidate? That was a good movie that went into it. Because it basically showed how, there were all those different programs being done for an extended period of time to try and be like, okay, try and utilize, different forms of drugs or technologies or whatnot, electroshocks, to get people to behave in a certain way, to alter how they view reality and all these things.
Yeah.
These were, them essentially trying to gain some means of doing that. And then, they'll have those things to a certain degree, but then it's all an imitation.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it comes down to the spirit. It's like, as far as for technology is always the good thing to go to, because with Esau's dreaming of certain things, it's like going into space, colonizing Mars, spreading amongst the solar system and whatnot, as they call it. These are the things that they want to do, but then it's that you can't even see it happening. Like you have and the thing is, even for simpler things, with like Interstellar, it's a good example to go to, just because that goes into the future. And then something as simple as farming, these guys didn't even have, you can't even have farming on lock, so people don't fucking die off.
Yeah.
And that shows why this guy can't. Why? How can you let this guy loose on the whole universe, man? This guy be got like every kind of futuristic series Esau makes. It's always Earth has been depleted of all resources.
Yeah.
The Earth's some black, dead, gray, blown up planet, and then they're like, oh, we had to fuck off to Mars. I'm like, bro, why is it that that's what you can imagine? It's because that's how Esau is. If he wasn't stopped, there would be no flesh left to save.
Esau's all about determination and just ending that shit, man. That's why, was it yesterday? They was arguing the bill for assisted dying. I think they voted to go for it.
Yeah, it's
with a 50 vote difference, 300 to 270 something.
Yeah, 331 or something.
Yeah, so there was a 50 vote difference, man. And they just voted to go ahead with assisted dying. It's like that feeds into him playing God. At the end of the day, the scriptures speak about life comes from the Lord. Death comes from the Lord. That concept that resounds throughout the Holy Scriptures. Everything is done by the Heavenly Father. Now he wants to get up in there. Well, I decide. It's a terminally ill fucker. I don't want to sit here and waste away. That infringes on my dignity. Yeah. Okay, all right. Now there's a bill. Well, just kill yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Pay someone to come and blow your head away.
Blow your head away. But that's as the elder brother saying, that's why he's always trying to innovate based off the worst case scenario. And it's like, well, why don't you prevent it from getting there? But that's why the scripture says he is as death. You can't imagine anything going good with Esau. He can't even imagine shit going good for himself.
And also, like it says that he's not even upright. The spirit that's in him ain't even
not upright within him.
Because the assisted dying thing, I think they said it wasn't even spoke about like that. They didn't get to discuss it too much before it just got put through. So the shit just sounds like out of left field.
Yeah, 100%.
And then they've got one of those in Canada, and then there's been like countless like videos, voice recordings and whatnot of like the guys in Canada where they're saying like if you're disabled or you have like monetary issues, or issues working, they'll say like, look, we can't, you know, we might not be able to get you this kind of aid, but do you want to kill yourself? And it's just, bro, it's if you look it up, there was a huge like push against it because it was they passed it, and it was just like they were saying Canada's like it basically looks like a cost-cutting measure. Where like, rather than paying to like have to provide care to people, they then just be like, okay, well just kill them. Then it's like a guy was like, yes, like, you know, I was like, I have trouble walking and whatnot, you know, but I, you know, with the medicine I can kind of live my life, but they don't want to give me no more medicine, and now they're just looking to kill. I was like, this is fucked. But then, you know, people are celebrating it now, but then you think about like, well, there was even though I was reading the article in it, he said like there was a girl where she was like 18 or 19 or something, and she was wanting to die. Then like a few months later, she was like, you know, actually I didn't want to die. Like, let me not go through it. I was thinking, imagine like they would just be like, oh, you want to die? You have a bad day. You have a fucking breakup. You lose your job. You fucking get in a car crash and break a leg, and you're like, fuck this, I don't want to live. Then you know, you kill yourself, and then like, you know, a week later, you probably would have been like, you know what, it ain't so bad.
Yeah, and they was talking about that yesterday in the House of Commons live. You know, there's too many grey areas with this assisted dying thing, and then there's gonna one guy stood up and said, you know, there's gonna be amendments to this law, which is gonna make it very dangerous. You know, the law you pass today, if it does pass, which it eventually did, it's not gonna stay the same. In years to come, there's gonna be various amendments. It's going to make it very dangerous, which makes the playing field so uneven that it's just going to get abused. You know, because then the question, well, okay, you got Lily who's 12 with cancer. You know, she's in Great Ormond Street, just suffering her life out. Do you offer it to her then?
You're gonna send a shotgun to her and just,
You
you
know
know,
what I mean?
take out little Lily.
Look, Lily, look this way.
Just bring the curtain round, right?
Oh shit.
But it's the same thing with they passed like the what do you call it, the social media bill in Australia, where it's like under 16 you can't use like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But then they're saying like, how are they gonna check if someone's over that age or under it?
Right.
And then it's obvious. And then they passed as well. I didn't even know they passed it this year in Australia before the national ID bill. So they've actually got national IDs. So then you could have they're saying like have a government database of like your information. Then they check against it, which obviously wouldn't just be for kids; it'd be for everyone. Everyone would be like, even if you're a kid, you have to sign up and have a national ID. And then that just makes you think, okay, well, it makes the MOTB that much easier to bring in.
When that goes into the digital ID.
Yeah. Because it's the same, and the thing is talking about it as well, everyone says it's like they've set on one ground, but then like they were saying with the assisted dying thing, over the course of time they'll amend it.
Yeah.
Then it will get broader and broader and broader. That's what always happens. They've established, once they've set, because it's the same with the killing thing, they've said like, oh, you know, you can die. What's stopping them just putting homeless people on there, man? And there's a huge ass homeless people. Like, let's just call the homeless, man. Get RoboCop out there to take them the fuck out.
Because you know they also know the rating how many people, you know, would like to commit suicide and all that. Because people are catching up. You know what I mean? You got kids being bullied in school and stuff like that. People going through difficulties with their family members, not being able to provide. So all of this stuff, you know, it does something to you emotionally, and it makes you want to. Because you even got people that's the only thing to live for. They only live for their family. So if they can't do that, they want to go off with their head. And a lot of people are feeling like that. But again, it just goes back to one thing only. This man is as deaf, it cannot be satisfied. He wants you to die, man. Boom.
Yeah, they said if you've got mental health, you won't be eligible for the assisted dying. But then it's like, okay.
It was the same in Canada, but then they started certain kinds of mental health that you have.
There you go.
The solution would be like, okay, well, it's better to die than live with such a deteriorated mental state.
Yeah. That's an excuse.
That's fucked up.
Go on.
This is Isaiah 10 and verse 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fathers.
Yes, it's basically turned against the most vulnerable. That's how those things are used, and that's how Esau's system of law works anyway. When you deal with those people that have significant political influence, significant monetary influence, then they can basically cover themselves. They're more or less impervious to any, or even if they get found guilty, they can get brought down to where they might just pay a fine or get a suspended sentence. But then let you do the same crime, and you can't afford a decent lawyer, you can't afford certain things, or you might have a certain background. They might think like, oh yes, you come from certain unsavory elements. Then they're just like, no, this guy's going to fucking jail, man.
Agree, sir. This is Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence.
Yeah, their job is to do that evil, man. It's unsettling to them. They'll be tossing and turning in their sleep. They have to call someone up like, yo, go slap a homeless guy for me, man. Yeah. Like, God damn. That's why it's as far as with these elites, all these kinds of big structural issues people have in Esau society, they could be solved in like a week if they so desired it. But they have no desire to. They really want to continue to accumulate all the wealth, all the dainties of the world to themselves, and then keep everyone else in the lower state, in that destroyed state. Jake especially. It's like these elites aren't thinking, people are like, oh, Labour's back in. All these black West Indian Jakes, man. They're like, oh, Labour's back in. They're thinking like, yo, life's gonna be good. The money fountain is just gonna be turned out. It's gonna be like Tony Blair's back in office. But then what? Lo and behold, what have you got? They said they're gonna cut benefits. Man passed the assisted dying bill. Like, what the hell do you think's going down?
They cut the winter payments for the elderly as well.
Oh yeah. That as well. That was everyone's expecting them to extend it. That was now I'm looking like, damn, maybe the Conservatives weren't so bad.
The nigga told you, man. He goes in October. He goes Keir Starmer, which by the way, that's an omen known. Keir means dark, dark and gloom. And so then he goes, the budget is going to be alarming, and there's just nothing we can do about it. That winter budget came and gave you the shock of your life. As the elder brother says, it's like people, Windrush generation. Yeah, man, Labour. Vote Labour. They don't even understand politics. Jake just don't understand nothing about economics or politics. All they know is Labour. But then look what Labour did to you, man. And now they've actually got, I think they got over 1 million petition.
It's 2.5 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it went over. It was like 1.7 last I saw. Was calling for a general election, but then obviously it's like even if they call for it, it's like the reality is this so-called democracy. You have no power, bro. You just they do whatever they want. Even if you think back to like the last, I think it was after David Cameron. I think it was barely under Theresa May. She managed to get voted in. Same for Boris Johnson. But then there were periods where it was just the Conservatives were deciding who's going to be the next Prime Minister among themselves. No one was going through and voting for it because the system is it's a lie, man. That democracy, that your vote counts, blah blah blah. Bro, these guys, Labour came in. I'm sure everyone wanted the continuation of benefits, continuation of like help with energy bills over winter, the cap on the energy prices and whatnot, but they didn't get it.
Just a quick one. Psalm 17 and 14, or something 13. Arise, O Lord Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, from men which are thy hand, O Lord Yahweh, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes.
Yeah, so these guys are nice. These guys are enjoying all the fatness of the earth to the point where they have, money left over. Didn't you have? Was it last week or the week before? The farmers coming down. That's why the laborers again. That Labour You know, man is glorifying labor in church, praying for labor. But then, but then what would you get? These guys added, you know, inheritance tax, where it's like you drop dead, and then like you're thinking like, yo, I want to leave something. These elites, they have whole loopholes for leaving. They'll piece off a whole empire to their youths, and then drop dead.
Even what's his name, Jeremy Clarkson. He was
Oh
down.
yeah.
You know, Sky News interviewed him and he goes, back down. That's all I can say. Back down. You got niggas coming from Wales to stand outside of fucking Westminster, man. You know, where have you come from today? Wales, mate. Wales, yeah. You know, they're not even from there, but they just farmed it. You know, it's terrible, man.
But that's how all, you know, the so-called blessings are meant to come with labor. It's all of that just falls back on the elites. The elites are really the ones that receive all those goods.
This is Proverbs 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
The wicked, as you read it earlier in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, man. You know, so what are you gonna get? You know, the scriptures speak about the wicked, which is thy sword. This guy was made. When I say this guy, I'm talking about Edom. The nation of Edom was made to do wicked in the earth, and that's what you've got. You know, and people are fed up with it now, man. Because the thing with Esau, he's gonna keep piss taking to the point where you die. But then people kind of get a bit of resistance, and it's like, the fuck that, man. I ain't down with this. The inheritance tax, the farmers, the people are just like, nah, not having it. That's why the scriptures speak about there shall be sedition among men.
Right.
Now you got people going right outside of Parliament and just talking about back down. You know, man was presenting Top Gear like 10 years ago. Now he's talking about farming, telling the government to back down. So that just shows you like how far Esau will go. He's such a devil. He's a devil unto himself.
Right.
And you know what that shows as well? When he went there to protest with those people, what it shows is that even the rich are going to they're being affected by this as well. It's not just the poor people, it's affecting everybody.
Yeah, because Clarkson, he's kind of up there.
You know, he's rich. Definitely got it.
But this is the other thing I just thought of now. You never know, it could be a shield laying in wait for something they're gonna to drive them, you know, drive that whole thing in a certain direction. But you never know. You don't know what these people are.
Psalms 19 and 7 says, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul of the testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart, and the commandments of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. Last one, Psalms 19 and 9. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahweh are true and righteous altogether.
It was essentially when you're going by the law, can't do any wrong. And that's really why it's you know, as far as in this modern day and age, the laws, the scriptures, that's not applied at all. Everyone's, you know, why you have everyone in tumult, why you have people so upset, you know, sedition among men, where you have the monetary system all fucked up, military conflicts popping off left, right, and center, is why? It's because of who bears rule and how. He's basically established, you know, his own system where he's going to be like, well, and the thing is Esau's aware of how he could deal righteously, but decides not to. And that's, again, you know, like it was said by the brother, because he's basically made to do wickedly, made to rule wickedly.
This is Jeremiah 49 and 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, his wisdom no more in Teman, his counsel Teman, wisdom no more in Teman, his counsel perished from the prudent, is their wisdom vanished. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of the dawn, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, Would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If these by night they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not.
And even for Esau, that level of just being like, you beaten a guy, you broken his legs, you poked out both his eyes, you ripped his rib cage out. You're like, damn, have I done enough? Then he kept going. That's Esau. He kept going, like with Jake. So it's gonna be, when it comes to the revenge, it's gonna be even more intense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because this is something that the Most High has basically been waiting. He's basically had that role of, he's gonna receive a legendary judgment for an extended period of time.
The Bible says pay unto him double.
Yep, I got that here.
Oh, that's it. Oh, spirit.
Right. This is Revelation 18. I'll start at let me start at 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double."
According to her works. 'Cause that's as far as for people talk about why just because my skin is white I don't deserve X, Y, Z. No one's talking about your goddamn skin being white. You're gonna have black Edomites, bro. Chill out. Like, but then it's they're kind of trying to equate it to like we're just it's just we just looked at them and decide no, it's because of what the acts that you've done.
Yeah, that's whole cap, man. Whole cap Malone. That's what he's on right now. Because he's campaigning saying, the Hebrew Israelite get found watching as an extremist and he's watching the videos. But bro, you keep painting this image. You're trying to come across a certain type of way. Really, your butt hurt, man. Yeah. You're in your emotions. This ain't gonna. You doing that ain't gonna gain you no favor around on any side of the fence. The only thing you really could do, if you are Israelite, is repent and hope that get with the program. But aside from that, hey, you ain't stopping nothing, man. If anything, you can't do nothing against the word but for it. So you're just aiding the motion of the truth, and that's why an abundance of people come out and say, or brothers and sisters say, I didn't know about the Hebrew Israelites until Vocab Malone did a video about them. Then I was introduced to it. So you think you're doing something for your own, your own good and your own belly, but in reality, Most High is using you to push as a conduit for pushing of the word.
There's a bit more on this, if I may. This is Revelation 18:7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, who judgeth her.
Yeah, I got a precept as well. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 20. The earth shall whirl to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a codfish, and the transgressions thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Yeah. And just to mention as well, and just like you were saying, that all of the stuff that Esau did, it all goes into transgressions. So the amount of evil that he's done, the amount of transgressions he's done, the Most High is going to execute judgment on them, which is just. And it's going to be devastation. It's devastation.
It's a righteous thing to recompense them trouble. Isaiah 47:6. I was wroth with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy, upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures. that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Yeah, that's it goes back to the acts that have been done. These things, there's things recorded of what Esau's done within the scriptures, and then even what's been done in recent history. Esau keeps track of that history himself. He'll make movies of it. He'll make TV shows, going into detail, giving you the nitty gritty of what went down. And then realize that he's doing it, but then he's thinking he's not going to be held to account. He really doesn't think he's going to pay for it. The modern point is like, well, no one's alive now that experienced it. Or no, if we were to punish people now, then how can we justify it? But then what's the reality of it is obviously is reincarnation is the first thing. But then as well is like, are you still not gonna make at least try and mend the ills that were done? Because they talk about like, no one who's alive now experienced slavery. There was things that happened afterwards for an extended period of time where there was all kinds of what's the word? Let's say stumbling blocks put in front of you, as a Jake trying to exist in America, red line, all these different things that went on after, where it just made life was fucked. But it.
Let's go with that narrative there. Yeah. No one was alive. No one's alive that was there during slavery. But the repercussions and the roll-on effect still plays to this day. Even in the corporate world. Equal opportunities. Every company's got some fucking black minority, ethnic minority as the poster. Boy or girl, diversity. 82% of the people we employed over the last 5 years was from the ethnic minorities. All that shit. But then you go in a workplace, you could be there for 4.5 years, and some white bitch comes in 2 weeks later, and she's looking at you like she's the authority.
Yep.
But that's you gotta backtrack and think. People don't think. Like, why do these people have an automatic sense of authority? Because that goes all the way back to the plantation.
Yeah.
Don't look in my face. I'm a white man. I'm pure. Now we know it's more than the skin color, but we're dealing with the level that they deal with. Oh, you black, you dirty, you nigger. Yeah, 3/5 of a man and all that shit. But it's like, okay, we know that the people that did it are on the earth, and the people that received slavery actually on the earth. We know about that, as the elder bro said, through reincarnation. But even if we go with your narrative, we're still dealing with the repercussions, the negative, may I say, the negative repercussions of slavery to this day. And that's just how society is molded now. Oh, that's normal, isn't it? And you put it out to them, yeah, but do you know this goes back to slavery? Oh, no, you're being silly. Come on. That's the past.
No, it's even, what was it, the fucking goddamn marmalade shit, man. You used to have the gollywogs on the front.
Yeah.
That was where I was growing up seeing that shit. Even just generally gollywogs, man. I remember there was a time we went to Kev, and then I think he told me there was at the bus stop, there was a kid talking about their mum's gollywogs or whatever.
No, that was us together.
Was that us together? Or were we both there?
Yeah, we were both there. We were going to my mom's house.
Oh yeah, going to yeah. And they're talking about the golly. Yeah, he's talking about golly. I was like, because they still have that shit. It's like a lot of them. You go on like Twitter and whatnot now. All of that shit will just kind of be out there. So it's
Twitter's a wild west, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna see how people really feel, man.
Yeah, with the whole name, the company they work for, the guy will come and do your plumbing. And you go, let me just double check. And you go online, this guy is talking about legendary racism. You're just like, damn. So but then that's how you know all those racial tensions. Now it's basically more or less back. Race war. He never left. He never went nowhere.
Real
You know,
talk.
it just got marketed as if
Yeah.
it went away.
It was put, it was
wearing dusted under
2024
the
now.
Nah, man. I remember there was gollywogs on the marmalade, man. Growing up, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So people, if you told that to people, they'd be like, "There's no way." Yeah, you go eat, you see a gollywog and a fucking thing, and that was just normal. So you know, there's people from that. I was born in the 80s. I'm mid 30s. So there's people walking around here right now. They saw the same things I saw, and they're not far removed from it. You know what I mean? Then they had like a brother or sister, a sibling younger, 10 years younger than them. And they say, yeah, you used to look like this, you used to do that. So how do you think they're thinking? It's not something that's like it happened, you know, millions, gillions, gazillions of years ago. It's something that happened just a little while ago, man.
And you know too, and it's a lot more stronger now because we're in the PC era. So now they gotta hug their racism. And it just keeps building up even more.
Yeah.
I got a piece of yeah, this is Ecclesiastes 3, verse 16.
15 is good as well.
But he ordered.
Order 15.
I'll let you because you
No. I'll just say read 15 and 16.
Yeah, this is Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 15. That which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and the Most High required that which is past.
It's required that which is past. Because that's you know, going by Esau's logic, he's just basically thrown it. It's like, oh, they died. What can we do? You know, meanwhile, they're getting, you know, 99-year-old men and women, where she was a secretary in Auschwitz or whatever, but then she's getting suplexed into the jail. Like, you know, she can't even walk. She's in a wheelchair. They're putting her into the foundation of the jail, man.
Yeah.
Being like, how dare you say you were just there? She was like, well, I was 15, man. I just needed a job. Like, it's like, well, too bad. But then, you know, as far when it comes to anything around slavery, anything around, and that was going on for what, centuries. You know, these things. There's whole companies that are set, and that's really the piss take is you got companies existing now. You know, they say established 1769 or whatever. Being like, hold on, these guys would have done been, they were a shipping company in the 1700s. I wonder what the fuck they were moving around.
This is Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
And that's the thing. Esau, he's got a rich mouth, man. Because he's one to always talk about our consequences. You know, the consequences of what you do. And it's like, well, hold on a second. What about the consequences of what you do? You know what I mean? So let's ramp it up to, you know, the level that we're on now. We know about reincarnation. So where it says the iniquities of his fathers, that's what he's talking about him. You people benefit of what your forefathers did, and you are them same damn people anyway. Because you know, you always the stupid old classic timeless argument. Whatever, I mean, if I was there, I wouldn't do it.
Sure.
But they showed you that in the movie Roots. Remember when one of the Edomite women, she was kind of standing up for one of the slaves, and her husband hung her from a tree.
12 years a slave.
That was in Roots, the old Roots.
The TV show.
No, it was the original Roots. They actually hung the Edom. He didn't have, because to them back then it was like, listen, man, if you have any sort of sympathy for a nigger, you're as good as a nigger.
You're a nigger lover.
You're a nigger lover, you know. And them Edomite men were vexed anyway because they knew that behind their back, their women were getting with Jake.
Yeah.
You know, the same way Massa was taking your wife and popping her. A lot of these Edomite women was running out of the house to go to the cabin to get popped by Jake.
You see that drum with Kenny Norton?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was beating. I think he was having his way with the slave master's wife,
Yeah.
or one of them, and she kept going down there. And
Yeah.
he's just one of them like the way they had Kenny, man. You know what I mean? He didn't have a speaker, but it's just there. And she's like, fuck me. And it's just like, you know, he's like a robot, basically. So he's just having a way with her. But she was the one that had a desire towards him. And they even said during slavery, there was a part, I think when Jake got released from slavery, I think just post that period, a lot of white women were getting with, like, marrying Jake men. And then they had to implement some laws in place to basically stop it happening. So it shows you, it's funny because it's just Discovery Channel had a couple called Require Choir. Although you Require Choir told me about the documentary. You can see clips of it on YouTube. It's the science of sex. So like they're going through different things that make men and women desirous. And you can see it, it just shows you, they do experiments and you see how certain things are just innate within us, you know, within our spirit to make us more sexy or what you just see deemed desirous, like a broad-shouldered man, tall, that's attractive, you know, like jawline, facial hair. Even if you got Esau trying to psychologically rub out that image, all right, that's always going to be attractive. So they were just showing it throughout the course of that, and it's just all things point towards what? The Most High's aesthetic. Like, the Most High's a dark-skinned man with woolly hair. You know, he's slow to anger, furious in wrath. These are things that Jake have within us. All right. All this new school Jakes of being heavily emotional and flying off the rails. That's not how we are naturally. We're naturally, you know, very cool, collected people, temperate. But if you get on our wrong side, you know, obviously there are different parameters within the tribes because we all got different spirits. But for the most part, we're not just some, you know, animal type of people, man. Because I know from when you get around these other heathen women and you conduct yourself in a godly manner, they're just in awe. They're like, wow, never met men like this is, you know, unbelievable. But that's just the way the Heavenly Father determined everything, man. He's built it like that.
And that's why most women will say I'm tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah. Yeah, Esau tried to side up that one to where it's all dark hairs. Like, bro,
Tan skin.
yeah, you see some olive skin.
Olives are green or black.
This is Zechariah 11, starting from verse 4, going into verse 5. Thus saith Yahweh my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Yeah, and that's just how they feel. They feel as though that you know, they've made great accomplishments by enslaving our people and doing all of the wrong that they've done. You know, but again, as we were speaking about earlier before, there's a consequence to it. You know, I mean, it seems as though they've walked into the sunset and there's no sort of recompense to their actions, but you know, hey, the Most High just set them up for the open.
Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. So even Jake. Oh, okay, come. Yeah. So it's like, man, like even these sheikhs that have touched down with Esau and sold out to Esau, like we was talking about earlier before. If you're in conjunction with Esau, when it's just time to go down, you're gonna go down right along with it. And that's just the way it's gonna go down. Yeah, go on.
Obadiah 1 and 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble.
Yeah.
And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken.
By the way, they engineered throughout time the tribes to hate one another.
Divide and conquer.
That's why read that verse. Read from the verse again. 18. Salat from 18, beginning of 18.
Obadiah 1 and 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame.
Jacob's talking about what the southern kingdom, and Joseph is interchangeable with Ephraim, talking about the northern kingdom. You know, so the whole nation all together, man. You know, we're gonna come together and you know, fuck you up. until you finish, man. Until you actually done away with as a nation. And that's biblical prophecy, man. As elders, you don't get to walk off into the sunset, man. Like the elder bro said, the Lord is slow to anger, and as his sons, we replicate that in our right mind. You know, these new age niggas. Oh, you stepped on my shoes. What? Bow, bow, stab, stab. That's not the nature of Jake, man. Jake is composed, man. You know, so it's the same thing with the Lord. That the Lord, what did he say to Marsha, King Moses? He said, I have surely seen and heard the affliction of my people back in Mount Azai, ancient Egypt. So do you not think it's the same thing to this day? The Lord has surely seen and heard the affliction that we've had to go through.
Yeah.
The scripture says, I was but a little angry, yet they forwarded the affliction, man. So Yahweh, where Yahweh Shai, has seen what you devils have done unto us. Do you think you're just gonna put a face, some minority face on a poster, and that's it? That's compensation.
It's funny you say that, because they put some black woman's face on the Navy. Then like there was a whole, I think they still have the posters out for recruiting. But then she come out years later and said, yeah, she was experiencing legendary racism. They were calling her a black bitch. She was, she was institutional.
That was on the BBC. She had a thing in it. She did an interview.
Yeah.
But you know what, on that point, because you said something about Moses, and you said like, the Most High said I was a little bit displeased with my people, but yet you forwarded it. Now, when you look at that, that shows the dynamic of Esau and Jake.
Right.
Because Esau doesn't, he misunderstood what the Most High gave him to do, what he set him up to do. And it's funny because I watched a documentary yesterday. It was talking about the murder of a little girl, a 6-year-old girl on Netflix, in a 3-part series. It's like a cold case. And one of the detectives, he was adamant, they were doing shit policing, like it was a shit show. Like you could just tell Esau doesn't know what he's doing. He's winging it. He said, yeah, what I said, she, the daughter wet the bed and then she flew off into a rage and then just killed her daughter. And she, sexually assaulted her. Like when you hear it, it's like, that don't even make no fucking sense. Like why would you say it? Why would you, like, you hear it.
The bed,
Yeah, and then they even said like, was the bed wet? No, the bed wasn't wet. Like it's just like Esau's story doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? But that's how Esau just goes somewhere else with it. He's just going, okay, yeah, that's where it is. But when Jake get involved, it's more like, okay, what's the matter? Because really, we've been set up to be the judicial people, the people with the laws, the judges over the earth, the kings and the priests. Because when we go into a matter, we delegate it properly. That's why when you go into the book of Lamentations, when we fill out a favor with the Most High.
Sorry,
what
guys.
We said,
Sorry.
That's fine.
Lewis, go on. Tell me. Go on.
Yeah, when we fill out a favor with the Heavenly Father, basically what happened was you had all the nations basically, talking about, is this the nation they say is, the jewel of all the provinces, because they knew, because what? Our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding was like a show of our people being, above all nations. When Solomon was at the peak of rulership, you have people coming in droves, what here is wisdom. There's people that are rich, Queen of Sheba, different people coming up there. Why? Because they wanted to understand, how these people become so rich? How is the abundance, of these things? Like they're just blessed on blessed, all right? But, we have a different way of doing things.
Like it reads in the Apocrypha, examine the truth. What is it on me? Before you blame, examine the truth. And we use the laws accordingly, and we judge, we judge different, able to judge various different cases.
It's true, you said that, but I was not for speaking. I was thinking like Jake seek truth through integrity. Esau just wants to come to a conclusion out of wrath. You know what I mean? Like any nigga, some parents, their daughter died in a car crash, and they'll be, she got stabbed by a nigga. She got great, son. You don't care who it's, once they get a nigga. That goes back to slavery again. Just pick a nigga, any one of them, just lynch him. But whereas we, on the other hand, we seek truth via integrity. what's that case where you had, was it with Solomon, where you had the two women with the baby. You know, in his wisdom, you know, he's like, all right, cool, bring me a sword, let's cut it in half. You know, both a child, right? Take half, and well, obviously the baby would die. But then he was looking for the reaction, you know. And then that's how we was able to determine who was the true mother.
Yeah, because the true mother said, okay, let her.
You know, it's just common sense. I don't want my child to die.
And then you have, like, with a lot of those procedural, like detective noir and whatnot, TV shows, you will have some aspect to that. Because I remember, like, Columbo, like, his thing would just be, he'll come back, he'd be like a nuisance onto people and just kind of like question them on one thing and then just be like, okay, so you're saying, okay, like, wait, there's just one, and they just like do that like 5 times.
But he knows what he's doing. He's setting you up. And then look at him like he's a poor puppy that don't know nothing.
It's like Columbo was one of, like, just one I remember. There was countless of those, like those being
Kojak.
Yeah,
The Boiling Man, Kojak, you know, around the same time, a little bit before. Yeah, around that time.
It was from black and white era.
What's the black and white?
Wi-Fi boy, Kojak.
Nah, before that, it's black and white.
It might come to me.
It's like a black, because my pops watches it. Anytime I go around his house, and I forgot the name, but it's hard. It's one of them. You know, like the old school TVs, more slow.
Kind of like Sharp and all that.
It's like 1950s, 60s, black and white.
56.
Yeah. But we're gonna have to get the last precepts in.
This is Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes, and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
And that's something that they know, the relationship of Israel to the laws and how they function when following the laws versus not following the laws. That's key in the strategies used by the heathens. They understand it greater than even Jake understands it now. Jake is at a loss as to why they're in the state they're in. They're thinking like, oh, okay, you know, some people can get fame, some people can get success, but then why is it others are just completely fucked? Why is it some people are just super bugged out? Why is it like, you know, you might have just grown up, your mum was a crackhead, your dad, you weren't even around, like some fucked situation, but then it's, you know, you need the law to basically be able to work out like, okay, so now I can kind of piece it together. And then you have a pathway to be like, okay, so now I know how to function. Because you might be you could be in a gang, you could be like banging on niggas and whatnot, but then thinking like, yo, why is this happening? But then obviously it's a matter of, you know, he that killeth for the sword must be killed with the sword.
And then you also find out that it was the Most High that put you in that situation as a nation, because you disobeyed the Most High. So with that, we're going to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Ruach Kodash.
Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops on down as well. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, down to 144,000, and his brothers of the third.
Shalom, shalom.